Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario. Welcome back to another episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups, and excuse me, off to a real good start, aren't we? Just like coughing right at the beginning here. My goodness. But it's all good. I'm not sick. That was just like the worst possible time for something to get lodged in my throat and decide to go down while I'm talking. But either way, in case you do not know, this is a series here that I do occasionally here on my second channel. Yes, I did say second channel. This is really just where I cover, video game and video game related stuff that I've picked up, typically for decent or good deals that I could find and all that good stuff. It could be from garage sales, thrift stores, yard sales, game shops, online deals, even things given to me by friends and all that stuff. So it could be just anything all in between. And I do this with my dog Lily right here, and typically I give her a few treats for participating since she's the star here. We're going to be honest. Anyways, I don't do this series all that often anymore for a few factors. One of them really being due to COVID-19 and all that stuff. When it was about probably April, May 2020, that's when I'd done an episode saying, hey, episodes are going to slow down because I'm not really going out and doing all that much, like looking for games and all that stuff. But the series is not dead. It's just going to happen a lot less often. And thankfully, I have a small amount of stuff that we can talk about right here. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into this. Isn't that right, Lily? Isn't that right? And I actually just realized there's one more thing that I need to get, but I'm going to get that at the end. All right, so it's not pictured right here. Lily, can you sit, please? Sit. All right, good girl. We're going to go ahead and give you another treat for that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get sat down right here. We actually ended up getting a console pickup. We got some games. We got some accessories. There's not all too much here, but it did come from a long way. So, first of all, most of this stuff is not even from the US. A lot of this stuff is from Canada. Pretty recently, I ended up going to visit my girlfriend who lives up in Canada, and I had gotten some of these when I was up there. So first of all, the very first things I ended up getting, I ended up going to a Value Village, which is just a, nice thrift shop. It's also called Savers, depending on geographically where you might be. And I ended up finding, I was just kind of looking around the electronics and all that, and I ended up seeing something pretty familiar. Saw this right here. In case you do not know, Lily, you want to sniff it? There you go. This is an Xbox 360 power supply. Now, I could always use these things. I actually had a bunch of them at one point. Then I decided to get rid of them because they actually got water damage, unfortunately. And I was like, I'm not going to try and mess with these here. But, if I can find them for cheap, I still pick them up because they will always go to use. If not now, later. So this is actually the 175 watt model, which means this will work on the Falcon, Opus, or anything newer. The first two motherboard revisions, the Xenon and Zephyr, this will not work on, unfortunately. Yes, I know there's a way you can get it to work. I'm not going to detail that because you should never do that. That's very destructive to the system. But either way, I ended up finding this right there for pretty cheap. I decided to pick it up, and I was looking for the other end, the other cable as well, which I just looked around a little more, and I was able to find it. So I just ended up pairing it with the power supply, and boom, I got myself, right, Lily? Just booped you right there. End up getting myself another Xbox 360 power supply. Now I looked around a little bit more, and I found a second Xbox 360 power supply. This one was quite a bit more, as you can see, and it's not missing. I mean, it is missing the other cable right here, but I mean, these cables are a dime a dozen. They're so cheap to find at this point. I mean, I have several around here as well, so I wasn't too concerned. Now, I almost kind of skipped out on this, but then I realized this is actually for the Xbox 360e. I had never even seen one of these power supplies. In my possession, I only have one Xbox 360e console, and I actually have an adapter for it, so I could use one of those older fat power supplies with an E. So I said, you know what, this will make things a little easier, at least, and I'm not a power supply collector by any means. I'm not like, oh, this is a super rare power supply, but, why not? It's one that I don't have, and it's one that I can actively use with a system that specifically needs it. So I decided to pick this up as well too. Now I was looking around a little bit, and I ended up finding, typically in their electronic sections, for the more valuable stuff they'll end up putting behind a counter. So I was looking around, and I end up seeing like this DS kind of just like sitting right there. And I didn't have much hope for it because I saw like okay, there was like one of those like bootleg Sega Genesis systems that was like 40 or 50 bucks. And I'm like, let me just see. This is probably like 70 bucks, right? I mean, you all probably seen it right here. Now I'll go into some more detail on that as well too. So I just asked when I was checking out with these two, I was like, hey, could I see the DS Lite over there? So I had to like point it out to the person because she didn't know where it was. So I was like, okay, it's down, it's to the right. No, to the right. No, okay, now to the left. It's the black box. No, not that black box. This, yes, that one right there. So she ended up seeing it. Now, I saw the price on this, and I just kind of said, holy shit. Like, to myself, at least. And then I decided to turn it on right here. So the nice thing is with these DSs, unless they're completely depleted, you don't use this thing for like 10 years, and it still works, man. Check that out. That comes up. I need to go through the actual initialization process and everything. It doesn't come with a game or anything, but I mean, this actually surprised me, right? It actually has the cover right here for the Game Boy Advance slot. It doesn't have a DS game in it. The only thing it's missing is the stylus, which, again, dime a dozen. I'm not too worried about those. It, of course, has the battery, and it's, you know, kind of scratched up. It needs a cleaning, but for a DS Lite, I really don't mind, especially like a glossy black system like this. Plus, it ended up coming with the charger because it says X2 right there. So check it out. It came with the charger, which was really nice. Now, yes, the prices are on here, but I do want to detail one thing, right? So I didn't pay any discounts on these. This was 20 bucks. This was 10 bucks. This is 4 bucks. Now, the nice thing is as well, too, I was telling my girlfriend when I ended up finding these, I was like, you know, this went from like a, okay, this kind of useful pickup to like a holy shit pickup for me. Especially because since I'm from the US, there's the conversion, the conversion with currencies right there. So all this stuff right here, you can kind of just take about a 20% discount on it, and that's really what I paid in US dollars. So this would be about $8 US. This would be about, you know, $3, $23.30. This would be about 16 bucks, which for 16 bucks US, I mean, for $10 or $15 alone, that's how much the charger will cost typically if I wanted to go and buy a DS Lite charger. So for just a tiny bit more, I got the whole system right there. The only thing I'm missing is the stylus, and it works. So I would say, like, good deal on those overall. Like, the power supply, even, like, once discounted, I was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, $8 for power supply, that's fine, but I still thought these were great. So that is the new system that I got, new old system, I suppose, and then the power that I end up getting right there. Now, the only other place that we ended up going to, because I went to Value Village by myself at first, then there was a local game shop, and my girlfriend was saying, she's like, hey, there's this local shop, it's a small local shop, I want to take you there, like, we're going to go when you visit. So we end up going, and that's where I end up picking this stack of PSP games right here. So the only downside to this place, it was really cool, the only downside to this place is that I don't know why, but they have circular stickers for their prices that they put on the cover art, not the case itself, the actual cover art. So you could see right here with Brothers in Arms, I couldn't fully take this one off, but actually if you look at it in the light, you could actually see where the sticker used to be. I don't know why they do that. I do not know why. If you are a game shop, there is no reason for you to do that. You put it on the case. You put it on the case. You don't put it like on the manual. You don't put it on the disc. You don't put it on the artwork, you put it on the case. That's it. Especially when, like, let's say this goes up or down in value, it's easier to just put the sticker on top of a sticker on the case as opposed to on the artwork. Anyways, I was looking at these here, and they seem to be, you know, complete and decent enough condition, aside from, you know, that bit. But these are the games that I end up getting. So I'll even name off the prices and all that. Lily, it's not food. I promise. It's not food. It's a receipt that I'm rustling right here. So I end up paying $10 for Brothers in Arms D-Day. Yeah, these ones are, you know, game price, like game store priced games. So it's not like I grabbed them from a thrift store. So this was $10 for Brothers in Arms D-Day. Again, all these were complete. I did want to make sure of that, so I opened it up. Disc it was there, it looked good. I checked the condition of the discs as well too, because I was like, well, I don't have a PSP on hand to test these, and if I bring it home and it, you know, if I see when I come home the disc is scratched or it's cracked or something, it's too late. I'm not going back out of the country to return this for a $10 game. So I ended up getting this for 10 bucks. Parappa the Rapper did not own this game, but I ended up paying $10 for this. Again, I was actually surprised it was so, you know, fairly priced on there. Tekken Dark Resurrection, I end up paying $25 for this. This ended up being the most expensive out of everything. And Tenchu Shadow Assassins, actually never played this game, and this was $20. Now, the odd thing is about this, I just noticed it when I was removing the stickers, and I'm actually going to look at it in greater detail with you all here. There's a disc, there's the manual, but check this out, it actually has 2 manuals. So I'm assuming maybe one of them is English, one of them is French. I guess we're going to see. So this just looks like a standard English manual to me. And this right here, let's see. That's exactly what I thought. All right. So it's actually kind of cool because now games don't even come with anything like this. And this one had 2 physical manuals, one in English, one in French. And in my opinion, actually, I think the French one looks cooler. And let's see what it was Interesting. They're advertising Shaun White snowboarding on the French one, but Prince of Persia Rival Swords on the English one. Good to know. Now, yet again, I got these all in Canada, so when you do the conversion and such, and for these as well too, I was actually paying in cash, so when I got there, I just withdrew a bit of cash, and I was doing that so I didn't have to pay for, I paid like a, cash withdrawal fee, but that was about it. I didn't have to pay, any fees on top of, paying with a credit card or debit card or anything. So once converted back to US, this here would have been about $20 US. This would have been about $16 US. These two would have been about $8 US. So even once I converted everything, I was like, yeah, those are prices I would pay for these games if I was at a game shop in the US. So I was happy enough with that. And the last pickup I ended up getting was actually here in the US, back home. Recently, literally the day before I'm recording this, I ended up going to a thrift store for the first time in a while. And I was just looking around, and I ended up finding some games that were traded in. Or not traded in, donated, I guess. Now, it was funny because I ended up seeing Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and the store I go to, sometimes they price their games, sometimes they don't. And this is one of those times it had a sticker on it, which I've removed. It had a sticker that didn't have a price on it, but it just meant when it ended up coming in. So I decided to look at it, and I was surprised that everything is in there, and the disc actually looks incredible. It had really no scratches on it. It had a few smudges, and I just cleaned those off. It had one little scratch that you could see right there. But the disc looked absolutely great. I was shocked, especially since thrift store Call of Duty game, I'd expect it to be scratched to hell and back. There were a few other games I was seeing, which actually, funny enough, at first I was disappointed because I opened this, there was no disc in it. To the left of it, I saw Need for Speed Rivals on 360. I opened that up, that had the Black Ops 2 disc. So I pulled the disc out of there and put it into the right case, and unfortunately, Need for Speed Rivals, there's just no disc with that. But I don't know what happened right there. There was even another game. I end up seeing Medal of Honor. That's it, on 360. I would have picked it up because it was cheap. Unfortunately, I looked at the disc, and it looked like the disc had gotten knocked around or something on the side because it was just bleeding out right here on the edge is what it looked like, so I had to skip that. This is the only game I end up getting, but again, I didn't know what the price on it was, so I went up to the front. I asked, hey, could I check the price on this? And the guy looked at the sticker, he looked at his prices. $3 for this. So $3 for a complete edition of Black Ops 2, which I would say is one of the last really good Call of Duties as well. I was totally all for that. So can't beat that at all. Now, there is one last thing I said I was going to share, and I totally forgot to bring this up right here. Let me go ahead and grab it, and I will preface this by saying it is not mine, but it's here temporarily with me. Oh, Lily, you already know what this is. So this is actually another DS that I ended up getting right here. Oh, Lily's not as interested. Hey, let me see. Lily, you're not crazy about the original clamshell. What about the light? Wow, you have even less interest in the light. All right. Anyways, this is the original DS, the ugly clamshell model right here. Now, this is not mine. This actually belongs to my girlfriend because she had mentioned this to me a few times. She said that she has a original DS that she ended up, it wasn't her actually, it was her sister years ago. This had to be well over 10 years ago, mind you. Well over 10 years ago. I guess there was one time her sister ended up dropping this down the steps, and it never worked after that. So my girlfriend brought it over because I thought of it, she mentioned it again. I was like, well, hold on. it's me. Like, I can at least take a crack at it. So the thing's not working to begin with. Just send it home with me, and I'll see what's going on. And the next time I see you, if it's working, I'll give it back. So what happened was she brought it over. She showed me. I saw with my own eyes, my eyeballs, my eye sockets. I saw that it was not working. I clearly saw that it was not working. So I decided to bring it home with me. And I was about ready to open this thing up. Like, I had my camera out. I was going to do an episode of Let's Repair. I was going to get this thing cracked open. I looked up some resources. I figured out what was going on, hopefully what was going on. And then as I was about to take it all apart, I said, let me test it one more time, right? I flip it open. Look at that. This thing works perfectly. I tried Game Boy Advance games in it. I tried DS games. Everything worked on this. The issue was happening before is that we would turn it on, it would go green, then it would go red, the screens would flash. Like, they would flash white very quickly, and the whole system would turn off. That was it. And from what I've gathered online, that seems to be an issue with a ribbon cable that is loose on there, and it needs to be reseated. As you can see, it's working just fine. So all I can theorize is that me bringing it like putting it into my bag, taking it on a plane, traveling with it, it probably banging around a little bit, ended up fixing it. Now, the funny thing is, as well, too, as I said, this is over 10 years ago, and I just want you all to appreciate that, again, this console has not been used in an important sense for over 10 years. I don't have a charger with this thing, right? And yes, the battery's dying on there, like, it does need a charge, but this thing works. It still works. I love the DS and DS Lite batteries, and I think the DSi is in there as well too, but these things have the best batteries, because seriously, you stop using that thing at half a charge, you leave it for 10 years, you come back, it has like 45% left on that thing. It's incredible. I love the tech behind it. Now, the only thing that I did to improve this was she does not know about this yet. So, I mean, by the time this goes out, I'm sure she will. But I did end up going out and I bought an extra stylus. I have a couple of them, but I ended up getting one and I put it in there because, like, it seems like every other DS out there, this thing was missing its stylus. So there we go. We have it in even better condition than it was before. We're all good with that. So the next time I end up seeing her, she is going to get her DS back, and it should be in nice working order. But that is about it for this video. Again, I just kind of wanted to share that little story at the end right there as a bonus. This is not mine. It is going to be going back to its rightful owner, but that's about all there is to it. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups, and you got to see a little bit of a haul right here. Not the biggest haul, but, you know, something that is wholesome enough, and I just like talking to you all and sharing these stories and all that of getting everything here. Now, if you enjoyed this video, a like would absolutely be appreciated. And if you didn't like this video, a dislike is fine as well too. But as I always say, I mean, if you dislike the video, you're just gonna make this dog here really, really sad.